It's not often where you can combine frenetic first-person action with horror, but that's a hallmark of the Fear games. Fear 2 Project Origin has finally arrived for the PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3, and it delivers a lot more of the kinetic gunplay and spooky atmosphere that we've come to expect from the series.
Nice of you to join us, Sunshine.
So Fear 2 overlaps in the original game. You play a completely different character, but you see some of the same events of the first game. The good news is that some of the questions that were lingering from the first Fear have been answered here. It all revolves around this battle in this town called Auburn. There's a powerful little girl named Alma who can shred anyone with her mind. There are armies of clones and mercenaries battling, and you're stuck in the middle of it trying to figure out what's going on. As you'd expect, Fear 2 looks a lot better than its predecessor. Of course, several years have passed, so you expect that. The graphics have gotten a huge upgrade, but I think the best thing is the paranormal effects are just state-of-the-art. There's some amazing stuff going on when you see some of this ghosts coming at you or the specters flickering. It's really, really high-tech stuff. It looks beautiful. The music and the sound effects are very good. There's a kind of discordant, kind of great theme going on with the music. The voice acting is pretty good too. It's a solid cast, and you'll probably recognize a voice or two from other games, aka Cortana.
Beckett, I need to check your visor calibration. Good, you're set.
So the gameplay consists mainly of traveling through this city, battling foes, paranormal and conventional, using all sorts of firepower at your disposal. The gunplay really feels good. You have the classic melee attacks with the flying dropkick. You also have slow motion abilities like you had in Fear, so you can always kick in bullet time and everything slows down, the enemies become highlighted, and you can just shoot the heck out of them. It makes the game a bit easy, but if you turn off bullet time or you don't use it, you'll really appreciate the speed of the battles here. I mean, it kind of really feels like a firefight in many ways. If the original Fear had a problem, it was a very repetitive game. I mean, the enemies and the environments were always the same. Fear 2, it's much different, although it does have a weaker first half than the second half. The first half kind of spends a little too much time in a hospital level, but once you get out of that, it really starts to change things up on you. There are urban levels, there's some really spectacular underground lab levels you'll see, and there's a really jaw-dropping outdoor level that I can't really spoil here, but when you see it, you're kind of amazed at the power of Alma. There's also kind of some vehicle sequences in the form of power armor. You can climb into these giant powered suits. It's really satisfying just because you have this tremendous amount of firepower where you can pretty much explode guys with. After you spend an hour or two kind of slugging it out with them, it's fun to climb into this power armor and just let loose like you're in a Japanese anime. Multiplayer, it's very traditional. It's a bit different from the first Fear. There is no bullet time anymore in multiplayer. It goes for a more traditional model that you're kind of familiar with if you play games like Call of Duty or maybe Halo. There is one mode though called Armored Front, which does incorporate power armor, so it creates this kind of great battle where you have power armor on both sides, there's only one suit on each side, and the infantry is trying to swarm around them, and you're battling for control of 5 points. Armored Front is a pretty cool mode. The rest of the multiplayer feels solid, but not really anything that we haven't seen before. I liked Fear 2 a lot. It's a very well-made and polished game. Almost a bit workmanlike at times, but it does convey story and atmosphere like few games can. With that said, this is a much stronger game on the PC than it is on the consoles. It's a solid shooter. If you've played Fear before, you'll know exactly what to expect in Fear 2 Project Origin.